Welcome. I'm Bernice Ross, the CEO and president of brokerage at realestatecoach.com.
And my name is Greg McDaniel with the very popular podcast, Real Estate Uncensored. Together, Bernice and I are Real Estate Coach Uncensored.
Greg, I'm delighted to be with you today. And we have a great topic. All of us probably made New Year's resolution where our topic today is you started strong. What happened?
What happened? We never understand why we go so hard left off of the railroad tracks as soon as we get going when we have the best of intentions. We're sitting there, it's New Year's, we're popping champagne, we're having a great time, we're saying we're going to stay strong, we're going to do this, that, and another thing. And then in a month, we're right back on our old ruts. I've done it. I'm guilty. Aren't we all?
But I think what we're bumping into is the power of habit. And It's really hard to break that. So we're going to talk about some strategies for breaking those habits that essentially hold you back and what you can do about that. So, and again, everybody probably vows to go to the gym. Well, then life gets in the way.
That damn gym. It's like a nemesis, right? You want to go to it, but then it's too cold. It's too early. My clothes don't fit. I didn't wash my shoes. My car, I don't know if I have enough gas. These are all, like you said, they're all just things that get in your way and keep you from doing things. I wanted to lose weight last year. And what I did was every time I was on my cell phone, I got tired of it and this is a story I have never told you, Bernice, but it's very funny. What happened for me, I hit a breaking point. I think everybody has to hit a breaking point or a point where they say, that's it, no more. I'm not going to tolerate this, because you get what you tolerate, right? And so I sat down in my old car and I just come out of the bank. I sat down and I had a button just burst right off of my shirt because I was squeezing my chunky body into these custom made shirts. And I said, that's it. I'm stinking done. And I just made a decision. Every time I'm on the phone, I'm going to walk instead of sit. And it's those small incremental steps that we all need to take and find the holes in your life and fill them with something that's beneficial for you, not something that's going to be a negative.
Well, one of the things I didn't know my phone had on it is this app that tracks, how many steps you're taking. And if you've got an iPhone, I assume it's on Android too, that, it does that. And I read an article, everybody talks about 10,000 steps, but there was an article out of the National Institute of Health that was a long-term research study that they did over in the UK. And they showed the optimal amount of steps per day is 6,000, especially to not tear up your knees and do other stuff. So how do you get your 6,000 steps? Well, first of all, awareness. Start tracking with what you're doing. So look at what's on the app and see how much you're sitting or you're out and about. Now, if you're out showing property all day, you're probably going to get a lot of steps in.
Yeah.
But you need to be doing, consistently, 25 to 30 minutes. Now, I got this thing called a gazelle because I do not want to go to the gym. I don't want to have to. We've got a full, beautiful workout place a block from where I live right now. Just walk down there, full pull. I don't feel like walking down there. All the excuses. It's cold. It's raining.
Right.
I don't feel like working out. But, it gets to be 1:30 in the afternoon before I go to lunch. That's when I hit it, unless there's something else that I have to pick it up that night. But it's been, being aware has gotten me, and then tracking my steps has gotten me through that habit to kind of make that a habit now. And what happens is, so that's establishing a new habit can be, hard. But so what got in the way for you, Greg? You pop the button. That was a turning point.
It was so embarrassing. It was beyond embarrassing. And I said, I have been tolerating subpar levels of life. And you know what? If you accept a $2 life, but you want a $10 life or $100 life, but you only do what you need to do to get a $2 life, then that's where you're going to stay. And so mentally what I said, you know what? And I made a decision, like, that's it. And so I'm like, where are my problem areas? I'm like, okay, I'm drinking a little too much beer. I should probably cut that back a little bit. And so I did two things. And these are just things that worked well for me because I hated them so much that I didn't want to have them be in my life anymore. So every time I thought about having a beer during the day, immediately dropped and had to do 10 push-ups anywhere I was. And it'd be like, Then it would be 25 push-ups, and you'd be amazed how fast you shift your mindset when there's a cause and there's a result. And the other thing is that I went out and I bought boxers that were just a little bit tight on me. Well, not a little bit tight; they were tight on me, and I called them my shaming boxers. And so, I'd put them on, and I'd be like, "Ugh, I'm gooey over everything. This is horrible." But you know what? I would put them on and I would remember this and I would do my push-ups. I go to the gym because I hated that feeling so much. And now they're my clothing they're my go-to, right? Because they're not my shaming boxers anymore. So I would find something that, it obviously I don't want you to hurt yourself in any way, shape, or form. But if you want to make more cold calls or door knocks or social media or whatever, if you give yourself an out, there has to be a result for that action, right? So let's say you like to have a piece of pie every night or a glass of wine every night, and you don't make your 25 calls. Well, then you have to hold back on yourself and watch how uncomfortable that is and how fast you will revert. And that's what I did for myself. And it probably isn't something everyone's going to do, to go out buy shaming boxers and to drop and do push-ups in public. If you're like, oh man, that Bud Light looks really good. Ah, crap. 25 push-ups. Okay. And people look at you.
Wow. I don't think I can do 25 push-ups if my life depended on probably one push-up. One of the things I found that works for me, I was getting these avocado potato chips at it's called Central Market, and these things were absolutely great. Oof. And the problem was that, it wasn't that big of a bag, and I wouldn't have that many, but, maybe 2 or 3, about 20 times a day, and the bag's gone. So one of the ways you can change a habit is to avoid the trigger for the habit. So in my case, when I go to the market, I don't walk down every aisle, right? Most don't. So all I had to do is stay out of the potato chip aisle. And that's, and I didn't come home with, or I don't go to Central Market because they don't have those chips anywhere else. So, it's like not putting the temptation in front of me. That would get rid of the habit. Then I found these chip things are 2 calories a piece. I'm doing a happy dance with those because they're so attractive. So that's another thing though, is like, okay. So my husband looked at his sweet tea last night, and it had 140 calories in it, about 6 teaspoons of sugar, versus 5, which is 10 calories for the big bottle. So you can substitute one thing for another that gives you the same sensation. So you're looking for that thing to substitute. So I got the 2-calorie chips, and these little vegetable straws things, and their barbecue. It hits it
hits all the receptors that you want. My dad, the Grandmaster, me Papa, T. Diddy, everyone who doesn't know them, his name is Terry McDaniel, but broker for 47 years. He always loved his wine and M&Ms. I mean, I know it's a weird combination, but he loves his wine and M&Ms. And he was putting on some weight, right? And so he and my mom, they I don't know where they found this stuff, but they got water, lemon juice, and I think stevia or something like that, and they mix it together. And he's at this point, he's stopped drinking for, I think, 8 months, like 0 alcohol. And he drinks these drinks every night that are just water and lemon juice and a little bit of natural sugar, but it hits those receptors and it replaced the hit for the wine. And he's dropped a lot of weight. His skin looks better. And it's just, like you said, it's replacing one action for another, just depending on kind of how extreme you want to go. David Gaggins, he's an ex-Navy SEAL. If you guys haven't read about him, he went from being extremely overweight to running 75-mile marathons, he's broken every foot in every bone in his foot. He's an extreme above extreme kind of a guys, but he replaced one thing for another. So, Bernice, I would love to get your take on this, because I know you've trained tens of thousands, if not millions of agents.
Not millions, but tens of thousands.
Well, millions of people read your stuff. How can someone, let's say they had the best of intentions to do 3 videos on social media, 25 phone calls a day, and 2 handwritten letters. That's a pretty aggressive day. I mean, that's a pretty full day, not to mention everything else. How could you keep them on track? Because they most likely have fallen off at this point.
Well, first of all, they need to start small. And this is the notion of baby steps. And I love Lao Tzu's saying a journey of 10,000 miles begins with a single step.
Mm-hmm.
It's where we get stuck is that we say, we're going to do all these resolutions. Well, you want to focus on one that you can win at. And when that becomes a habit, then you can add the next one. So take, that 60, 90 days. In fact, the research on habits is that it takes 66 days, not 21 days to establish a habit. So once you've got that worked in, and I'm still, for all the years that we did Tuesday caravans when I was selling, I still think Tuesday or there's a caravan out there. I can go look at property. That is in my blood. It's just there. Tuesday's office meeting caravan day, So you get these steps that work for you. And then I want to go, you were talking about push-ups, and I love this, and I wish I could remember the author. It's escaping me at the moment. But there was an author who, in his book, he talked about the one push-up strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than commit to doing 25 push-ups, his says commit to do one, and you make sure you do one a day. Because once you already start, you're probably going to do more. So it's the idea that you make the commitment to do something very simple. I'm going to make one cold call a day.
Right.
And then I can increase that. Maybe I'm going to commit to doing 3 a day. Or if it's something else. And what I would say, two different things. If you do what you hit yourself, what you decided to do, then you want to make sure you get reinforced. You talked about, that is like, if I want to have my one, I got to do my 25 cold calls.
Yeah.
So that's a positive reinforcement. Or, you can use punishment. So if you really want to get after yourself, okay, so you commit to doing 50 cold calls this week. If you don't make it, you have to contribute $50 to the presidential candidate that you hate the most. Talk about a motivation. What do you think?
I would get that certain human being's jar on my desk and look at that photo of that human being and be like, oh no.
No, I'm not giving you a dime of my money.
Not getting my money, honey.
Not getting it.
That's actually a really good one because it legitimately doesn't hurt anybody, and it's a visual reminder of what you loathe in life, no matter what side you sit on, of giving that human being some of your hard-earned capital, right? That you could be using on yourself.
It's just like that is so, everything's so polarized right now. That is so, stomach turning. I can imagine people just thinking about this right now. For so many people, there is no way I'm going to do my 50 push-ups rather than get 50.
Give that guy or that gal X amount of money. That's a great one.
So, but the trick is here, you want to start small. So you want to have a reward for yourself when you do something that you've committed to do, and then if you don't do something, there needs to be some sort of punishment attached to it, or something that's, I don't want to use negative reinforcement, because negative reinforcement, it means like taking an aspirin and making my headache go away. So remove something negative, but punishment is something. Now, the other thing I want to talk about though, and I think this is really important, you were talking, I like this analogy, Greg, that you did with the $2 life versus the $10 life. I think that is really a really great framework. Is what are you doing that are the $2 life activities? Are you going out and stuffing, brochure boxes? What are you doing? Or what are you doing that is really not supporting you to change? And there's a saying that environment is stronger than will. And I don't remember, it was one of the really big authors who said this. I don't remember who it was. He was stuck at about $100,000 a year. And what he did is, he wanted to get to $1 million a year. Change your peer group.
Yeah, that's very true. I used to run with a certain group 1 or 2 years ago, and I've changed who I'm spending my time with. I'm spending my time with extremely wealthy people, and you one up yourself so that you can be in that crowd and not feel like a pauper. And then you start thinking, okay, well, what are they reading? Where do they spend time? And I've had multiple experiences when I've been in an environment and I've felt like a pauper. I'm like, I don't know if I belong in this room. And then I shifted my mindset. I'm like, I absolutely belong in this room. there's no reason for me not to be in this room. I just need to be a better presentation, a representation of myself when I'm in these rooms with these human beings. And once you start shifting your mindset and saying, I don't deserve here, I don't belong here, I can't be with these people, to going, I 100% belong here, I 100% can hang with these people, and you just shift that mindset, everything will change for you at that point. But we're all taught, from a very young age, well, don't go talk to that guy or that girl, or you can't achieve. Have you ever listened to people talk? Have you ever listened to people talk? It is disturbing once you start paying attention to the way people speak to themselves. I want to punch people because they're like, I'm so fat, or I'm a dum-dum, or they say something like that, and I'm like, dude, shut up, man. Like that's getting ingrained into your psyche and in your subconscious, and you're never going to step out above that if you don't truly believe in yourself and tell yourself consistently that you do deserve it. You can achieve it. I had a coach one time, and I said, well, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to do something. He's like, okay, I want you to do something, Greg. I'm like, what? He's like, I want you to try to stand up. And I'm like, what? I didn't get it. He's like, try to stand up. And so I'm like, so I stood up. He's like, did you try or did you do it? I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying. And I like this. And so he says, never to say, I'm trying to do it. I'm going to try to make $100,000 this year. I'm going to try to make 500,000. You change it to, I'm in the process of making 100,000. I'm in the process of making 500,000 this year. And it's those small, you say that to yourselves right now. Say, I try, and then say, I'm in the process, and see how that subtle verbiage change makes a massive difference in probably your energy here in your heart, your chest, and your mind, and also just the way you view things. Bernice, you and I were talking about how to speed read, and you were teaching me how to speed read, right? Which, guys, this woman is it is, but it's when you put it out there and be like, you know what, I would love to read more books. And so I put it out into the universe, and Bernice immediately responded and goes, I can teach you to do that.
What I did in my past life, I taught the techniques of reading.
And I'm going to be a master speed reader now.
I hope so. I want to come back to what you were talking about here, this notion of how you're setting goals. And I love, one of the exercises I've done when I've trained business planning. So you take a group of people and say, Greg, so what's your goal for 2020, in terms of your income? You don't have to tell me what it is.
Sure.
Okay. So what I want you to do right now is double that. And you see people getting really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So say it was 100,000 and you double it's 200,000. Then I say, I want you to double it again. So I want you to set a goal of 400,000, and look at the look on your face. You immediately, there's the body. You got it. That's what happens. They just like roll their eyes. I can't do that. That's mindset. That's called a BHAG. So if I set my goal at 100,000, maybe I hit 75 or 80, but if I set it at 200,000, I might hit 130 or 140 because I had the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal that is bigger, that pulls me forward.
Mm-hmm. I love BHAGs. I used to have it written in red lipstick under my shower, and I'd read it every single day. And it took me to a whole nother level. And my goal, if you want me to double it, take it, double it, and then add it on again, it's a very large number. Is it doable? 100%. Am I willing to do what it takes to get to that goal? That's a whole nother question that you have to ask yourself, because what you're doing now is not going to get you to where you want to be in the future. It's just not. 100% not going to do it. If you're a chunkster and you want to lose some weight, put down the cookies, fatty. If you're drinking too much alcohol, stop buying the beer, the booze, or the wine. Stay
out of the beer, wine. Stay out of the liquor store, or out of the aisle of the market with beer in it.
Make a decision. Like, I wanted to stop eating. I love these like pre-made wraps at Safeway, which is our local supermarket, right? And I would go in there, and it was super easy. Just grab them and put a bunch of hot sauce on it and that would be my snack, right? These things are horrible for you. So what did I do? I made a decision to not eat anything I did not make myself. And that was just a decision I made. And it's been several months now, and I've never gone back to it. And I don't see any negative effect in my life because of the lack of those wraps. So when you guys are thinking about something that you kind of, that's your safety zone. Like, that wrap was my safety zone because it was easy and it was simple and it was tasty. So if you have something that you're doing on a consistent basis, but it's holding you back, think about it, what it is right now. Each and every one of you knows what that is. Don't lie and say, I'm perfect. Dude, you're lying. Okay. And just say, okay, this is what's like, I drink too much tea. I need to stop drinking. I need to stop drinking so much coffee to make my teeth black, right? Okay, well, find a substitute. Go get a natural supplement that'll give you some energy. Go do some running, which will bring up your energy levels in your system. You can find ways around and out of the ruts that you're in by, like Bernice, like you were saying, maybe doing one push-up, one call, one letter, and then step it up. I wanted to, I sound like a fat ass, but I'm really not that fat. But I wanted to get back into swimming, and I have a big pool down here. And so I went down there one day and I said, you know what? I'm going to do 10 laps. I get in, knock out 10 laps. Okay, I did my 10. I got out of the pool. Next day, 15, 20, 25, 30. Progression goes on. Guys, within a month, I was doing 100 laps.
Wow.
A day.
So again, that's when you're substituting one behavior. So if you're sitting in front of the TV with whatever your favorite drink that's high calorie and your favorite high calorie food, find something else to do. That substituting is a wonderful way to do that. So to kind of wrap up for today, Greg, what's your big takeaway for our listeners?
I would say go find the person that you want to be like. Now, it doesn't have to be an exact match, but go take that high producing agent, go take that fitness model, go take that health guru that or something like that. Take them to lunch and say, may I buy you lunch? May I buy you coffee? May I buy you whatever? And then say, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Would that be okay? And I would sit down, and then you have to take action on this. Guys, Bernice and I can talk to you until you're blue in the face, we're blue in the face, and you're going to shut our show off and never watch us again because you don't like it, that we're pointing out the facts that you're not doing. But if you guys don't take the actions, nothing will shift. You have to take massive action. And you hear that from a lot of folks, but the simplest thing is don't reinvent the wheel. Go talk to the person that's already doing it or that's already done it, right? And say, what are the 3 things that I should do in the next 90 days? Bing, bang, boom. If I achieve these, can I buy you lunch again? Now, here's the funny thing. Bernice, I know you'll agree with me on this. If you waste that person's time and you don't do what they told you to do, and when they spent their time with you, don't call them back, lose their number, because they're not going to spend time with you. If you do it, and you come back and say, okay, Bernice, last time you and I spoke, you told me to do blah, blah, and blah. I did blah, blah, and blah. These are my results. What should I do next? Now, I will almost guarantee you, Bernice, would you spend more time with me the second time around because I took your advice?
Hey, we love it when people take our advice and they have a win. That's a great way to wrap. So, my takeaways here, Greg, are again, this notion of baby steps. Do just the one push-up thing, and control your environment. If you've got friends who are drinking, then you don't go out with them when they're drinking. I mean, this is the choice. It's that environment stronger than will. That's what, stay out of the potato chip aisle, I guess, is my big takeaway. Hey. Anyway, thank you for joining us for today's show. You started strong. What happened? Well, we hope that you'll get the what happened under control and join us again for our next show. This is Bernice Ross.
My name's Greg McDaniel with Real Estate Uncensored. Together, Bernice and I are Real Estate Coach Uncensored.